Well, the number of houses being sold across Canada continues to slide. It's the fifth consecutive month that sales have been on the decline, but if you're buying a house, chances are it'll still cost you more. The average price of a home is up nearly 10% from what it was last year. In Greater Vancouver, sales are also up, and if you're buying today, you'll pay about 3% more than you did last year. So, where's the market going from here? Tsur Somerville is a professor at the University of British Columbia and an expert on real estate. Sir, the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver is calling our market a balanced one. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think so, in the sense that it certainly looks like that you're not seeing large upward pressures on the demand side, and the supply side is not delivering lots and lots of units to the market. But this would be a balanced market that would deliver lower rates of price increases than perhaps we've been used to over the last 20 years.
So does balanced market coincide with a sustainable market? Because I look at it right now, the average home price in Greater Vancouver is around $600,000. If you want a detached home, you're going to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $900,000. That's a lot of money. Is that a sustainable level?
I think you need to differentiate between what's the balance between sellers and buyers at any point in time and where the market needs to be in the long run. And, we face a challenge in part because this is a market where most people who want to be here and start out here are going to have to start out in something that looks a whole lot like a condo or a townhouse. And single-family houses are really in limited supply. So looking at those prices, it's an indicator of how expensive it is, not necessarily where the market is at any point in time.
A lot of people, though, look at these numbers. I mean, 3% over last year. It's not a huge gain, but I would doubt that a lot of people made a 3% raise. So at some point, does there come a point where, given the amount of non-mortgage consumer debt that we have and given the unaffordability in Greater Vancouver, does there come a point where the market just says we can't afford this anymore?
I think the tipping point is really on the employer side, which is when employers basically can't find employees that they want at the wage rates they're willing to pay to get people to come here. So that's where the issue is. I think it's really on the tipping point is on the ability of firms to hire workers at a given wage. If people want to come here and live in really tiny houses, or in condos because they really want to be here, then that's a preference that then plays out in what is an unaffordable market when we look at single-family house prices.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the national numbers as well. Yeah. The cost of housing in Canada up 9.5% from last year. This in an economy that really isn't all that hot. Does that worry you?
Well, I said that on the national level that we're moving to some type of a market contraction of some kind, maybe a very minor one, but the ratio of sales to new listings is declining as listings or supply of units on the market rises relative to sales. Mm-hmm. I think the backdrop, particularly for Western Canada, and that includes BC, obviously, is slumping world commodity prices. And I think that's a real big factor. In some sense, the East may get bailed out by the declining Canadian dollar, which helps manufacturing exports. But here in the West, we're really at the mercy of what's going on with world commodity prices.
Okay, Tsur Somerville, professor at the University of British Columbia and real estate expert. Always appreciate your insight.
Thanks a lot.